Welcome back to the Aromatic Mystery School. I'm Elizabeth Ashley, the Secret Healer, and I'm really excited today to invite a friend of mine to come and tell you about the work that she is going to be doing at a very glamorous museum in the middle of Manhattan. And what's exciting is she's going to tell you about a competition with scent that you can be involved in. So, Ginger Andro, I am so excited that you are here.
I am so thrilled to be here. Thank you, Liz, for letting me talk about this work that we're doing and invite people into the competition, which is really, a main thing that we're trying to get people involved in right now. So,
Let's begin and tell them a little bit about the museum that you're going to be exhibiting first.
okay, it's actually a gallery and it's called Olfactory Art Keller. And it is the first, and to the best of my knowledge, still the only commercial scent-based gallery in the States, in the US. And Andreas Keller, who holds PhD in neurophysics and genetics, primarily focused, and philosophy, and had become, when he was doing this work, he started little bit of background. He started working with fruit flies because I find this fascinating, and this scent orientation of fruit flies and genetically how that affects the reception of the stimulus. And so all of a sudden the genome was coded, and he started to work with humans because he said, well, we could do this, with humans. So he started to work with humans, and this brought him to a connection with people and artists and the sense of smell. And of course, like started to artists had started to work with this sense. I'm not sure this was, early, like around 2000 or so, maybe a little earlier. And so he became friendly with artists when he got his PhDs and decided to do something with this and continued with this connection with artists. We opened up this gallery in um, in 2021 during COVID, which is kind of interesting. The gallery itself is in an up and coming area for art, emerging artists, very exciting galleries, and it's just on the outskirts of Chinatown. So that's it's a small gallery, and anything that's in there has an element of scent to it, a
So exciting.
big element of scent, yeah. So.
And so you are going to be featured in there soon. You and your team. So tell a little bit about your team before we show people your art.
Okay, so I'm sort of the scent artist creator, and that's one of my jobs. And then Chuck Glicksman, who is primarily for excuse me, our purposes of collaboration, and he and I have been working since 2000. We started to do these scent art installations. So you have the sculptural material, you have video projection, sound, and scent, and it's basically what we do to create an environment that you're so that we've been working together since, like I said, 2000. And just prior to COVID, we brought in another friend who we had been talking to, who's primarily a writer, poet, musician, songwriter. Um, and so that's Chuck had known him since he was in high school. And when I got together with Chuck, we all became friends. We were living in Brooklyn. He's now a professor in Northern Florida. So we have kind of a long distance relationship. And we did some in-person installations where he brought his um, his word, his poetry, um, text to what we were doing. And actually, that was like the last show that closed a big gallery in the city prior to COVID. And then we did another it was just coincidental. We were invited into another show through another venue, and it was the opening of that same gallery after COVID. So we had this relationship. During COVID, we were like, what are we going to do? Because we had just started working together. So that's Mark Ari. I'm not sure that I gave his name. Um, and so we were kind of, in a three-way conversation. Really, Chuck and I were together, being here in New Jersey, and he was in Florida, and we came up with a way of collaborating, which we called in transit installations. And used a postcard, basically mail art, which does also have a tradition, and a sent button, basically had prose or poetry and had a QR code bringing you to the video. So you got this thing in the mail because we were all separated. You opened up this envelope, which was intended to feel like an invitation. Where, you opened up a hand-addressed envelope that had another little envelope inside that you had to open, and then you had this card. Then you did your thing with this card, you smelled it, and you viewed it on a QR code. So that was the thing. Now, after COVID, well, during COVID, I was invited to be part of the NAHA conference, which was supposed to be in person, and it would have been a very small kind of thing, just passing smell strips around, also based on the art. But because of the lockdown in 2021, everything went virtual, and Chuck had to help me do a real presentation, which that's when I found out about the gallery, because I was researching other scent artists because I knew they had to be out there. When we started working, I started working just, I just had a need, I personally had a need to use scent, had no idea that there was anybody else. I did find out that there was some work being done from my perfume. So I started studying perfumery, natural perfumery, because I wanted to work all with naturals. And she had actually worked with another artist. And anyway, so I lost my train of thought.
That's all right. Shall we have a look at the wonder wheel that you are about to exhibit? Then it'll give people some context to what you're talking about, won't it?
Yes. And I need to figure out how to share. Okay, I got that. Getting better with the computer.
I can't see it here. That's it.
Okay, and I think I have
Yeah, that's great.
does this, whoops. I am so sorry. This is
All
definitely
right, now
not my
that's great.
computer.
Now click
I think
play.
I have it. I think I have it.
You do, you do. That's fantastic. So tell us a little bit about this. This is Coney Island, right?
This is Coney Island, and this is the Wonder Wheel, which is there you go. I will get better at this.
I
Okay,
think I might have knocked you out then. Go on, yeah.
so this is the focus of those cards that we were doing. We called the Bridge Project because it bridged the gap between the viewer slash participant and us as being the artist team. And so the last one, which this was a New York series because we were focusing on New York, is Wonder Wheel. And this is a huge Ferris wheel in Coney Island. It was built around 1920. Actually, yeah, it just had its 105th anniversary, which is a big deal. It's an amazing structure in that it's been in this family for years, and they're still running it, and they're very accessible, very proud of it. You'll see them there at Coney Island. Just it's a very interesting kind of family oriented space still now. Um, and it's been an amusement park since the early 1900s. Um, lots of changes to the area. It's on a boardwalk, so you have the beach, you have that kind of traditional amusement park feeling, very active, very romantic, lots of kids, and and lots of spinning, and which is what we were focusing on. This is the wheel, the wonder wheel, and sort of as a metaphor to life, as a wonder wheel and turning and coming back, and what you're seeing in different things. And when you're at this park, you have this huge structure, which used to be the highest point that you could view for, I don't know, but it was like always like, the highest point to get a view of, and you had the ocean, and you had, I mean, things have changed now, the buildings are much higher, but it must have been truly spectacular, maybe frightening
Mm.
when it was built. And there's all, because it's an amusement park, there's the merry-go-round, there's all these other circles going on around you. So you're very much aware of that circular motion, which is quite physical and also has a lot of meaning to most of us, considering, the
So how did you decide to use scent with this?
with this show. Well, I've been using scent now with my installation work. As soon as I came out of like more traditional, plastic sculptures and painting, something that would be like on the floor, on a wall, or um, and into space, I wanted to include the scent, and that's because of I had a medical thing, and I became really acutely aware of my sense of smell, and it was amazing. Not that I didn't smell before, but all of a sudden it was more important than my eyes when I encountered something. And later that year, Chuck and I had decided to collaborate and to do installation work. We were invited into a show, and the curator gave us a room, and we decided, well, rather than showing our separate pieces, let's join them. So with that, and because of my own personal experience, and because scent is such an amazing medium, it as an artist, I am not really conceptual. I'm not like an intellectual. I want you to feel when you see my paintings, I want it to do something to have more of a guttural, um, emotional, if you will, kind of connection. And scent goes right to that. There's nobody that's, well, there will be, but still to date. And when I started to do this, it's like another artist, when they're looking at your painting, it's like they'll look at your painting, but they're kind of looking at your brush strokes and all the technique. And, they do that first, right? It's sort of a common way. And I wanted to bypass that. We were going to be using video, which had a history in art too. And I just wanted people to look at the work, feel the work before they went through all their intellectual processes. And so scent does that because of how it connects. It connects to the brain, it connects to your limbic system, it connects to your memory and your emotions, bypassing at first, the thinking part, the thalamus of the brain. And so when people would come into the work, they would smell it and it would throw them. So then the eyes, then the ears for the sound, and it all became one. And so that's why I started working with scent. So this is when the three of us started to collaborate. Scent was already in play, and I had met Andreas from the Scent Gallery, and he invited us in. So scent's pretty important to this.
So what happens with this? If I remember rightly, people engage with games, fairground games. Is that right?
Yes, in this particular show, you're coming in, and we've had different formats before, but this one you're going to come in and you're going to start playing games, and you're going to get a scent. So that's the scents that are going to fill the gallery this time, not intentional. So you'll play a game like for a fortune. We have sort of a bingo wheel cage that holds like ping pong balls that you'll open. So you'll spin this, you'll get a fortune, which is really a beautiful little kind of haiku based poem that Ari wrote. So it's something special, and a scent that accompanies it. So you'll open up the ball, you'll get the scent, and then you'll get the name of the scent. That we haven't worked out all of the details, but basically you're going to take that scent, and as you go through the other games, that's going to be a scent that you're going to create with. So you'll take that scent, let's say vetiver, and then you'll go play another game and you'll get another scent like lavender, and then you'll do something else and you'll get another scent, and then we culminate with a wheel of fortune, which will have a whole bunch of scents. So you'll collect 3 to 5 scents and then go into a space, and what you're going to be tasked with is to create a scent, actually create a scent using only those scents. So you can do whatever proportions, but that's going to be what we're going to call the hand you're dealt, or something like that, because we're feeling that that's, you're going in and you're getting this. You have an input because you're actually playing the game, but it's really just fate that's going to assign you, it's chance that's going to assign you what scents you have to work with. And then you work with those scents build something in whatever proportion you want, and that's what you'll walk away with. The shows that we've been having this is the first time we've had a show that's been extended. What we've done at Olfactory Art Keller with the other two bridge projects is we've let people blend. We present how the scent was built, or you're interacting with the scents that I've created basically, but it's part of the show. And then people are assigned with like to either create a scent that gives them a memory of a place, and then the other one was like to an emotional scent. So using oils, but you had the choice, complete choice from the palette. This time you don't, and we don't.
I was going to say, so I think if you go into the next screen, we can tell people that give some context to the competition, can't we?
There we are. Oh, it worked. I'm so happy. Yes.
Yeah.
So, in talking to, because I walk around for a long time, and I'm not really that familiar with Coney Island personally. I grew up in New Jersey, so there are other amusement parks that I was more familiar with. But and actually, I only rode the Wonder Wheel because I felt I had to for this. It was not something, I'm not loving heights, and so in doing that, walking around and talking to people there and people that grew up, because as soon as you mention Coney Island, there's a tremendous connection with a lot of people in this area, in the New York metropolitan area. They either had grandparents that lived there, and everybody's got this very strong memory. So of course, I just asked them what it smelled like. And what does your memory smell like? And, one of the things everybody keeps talking about is hot dogs. Oh, it's got to be hot dogs because Nathan's Famous, which is if you're in the area, and I don't know, actually, I think even Costco carries them. It's a brand of hot dog. Again, like most what happened in Coney Island was a family-owned business that expanded. And it's quite, I think we have pictures of that too. It's quite a place in itself. But anyway, so hot dogs. I'm a vegetarian. I was talking to someone, well, Tom from Entourage, and as I has been my habit for many months now, asking him what he thought about it. And he's like, well, hot dogs. I says, well, how do you do that? It's natural. It's like, don't know. And we started to have a conversation. He said, well, I work with a perfumist, and I said, well, let's get his name and I'll ask him. And all of a sudden, Chuck actually came up with it. So why don't we have a hot dog scent competition, which again aligns with Coney Island, because annually, and I don't know for how many decades, Nathan's Famous, and it's like ridiculous number of hot dogs that get eaten, but they have a hot dog eating contest. And it's like, I think it's like in the thousands where people will actually be able to ingest. And I don't know that for a fact, but they have all different techniques. And so that's been going on. So it's like, well, that's kind of funny. They do this hot dog eating contest out at Coney Island. So we're doing this. So talk to Andreas, and we are doing a hot dog scent competition. It is open to everyone because hot dogs are not natural. So I'm not going to keep it confined to the naturals, but any of you people working with scent, aromatherapists, if you have a particular, perfumist, if you have a particular idea of how to do this, I want a natural scent to win this competition. But, it's up to
Yeah, I mean, it'd be quite exciting even to do it with fragrance oils, wouldn't it? You get those lovely meaty scents and stuff.
Absolutely. I am not going to take part in this, but anything, tincture hot dogs. I don't know, but anything that could evoke that. And it's like Ragda Maksud, who has a long history in the fragrance and flavors. She came up with something. I haven't yet smelt it, but I know, so I'm confident that it can be done with naturals of some form. But I think it should be fun, and the piece will become part of the exhibition, and your name. We don't have a huge prize. We're getting some little things from Coney Island that we felt is appropriate as an award. But on the opening on May 10th, and I know that that's very close, we will be doing a whole like jurying and awards for this. So that's kind of like all we can offer as an absolute prize, but I'm so interested to see what people come up with.
I'll put all the details in the description if people do want to enter. It'd be great. It'd be great if they did. So what have you got on the next slide, Ginger?
Okay, these are just some other um, views of the Wonder Wheel, which does like it. The Cyclone, which is a roller coaster, also very famous, and we had tossed around using that as the subject of this, and decided that I'm never writing anything like that, so we didn't go for that. But you know, as this thing is round and you're going around, there are again all these other circles and memories and emotional connections. It's really it's quite a sensory stimulus overall, just walking through here. So that's
Oh, wonder we
okay. Didn't really
it's
intend
pretty
that.
good deal. Round and then comes right back again. Like a rolling stone. You find your own way home. That's the idea. Wonder wheel.
That's fab.
Yeah, that oh, I don't quite know how to stop. Well, I can leave it on here. Is that okay? Or I can stop sharing?
Well, do you want to tell people a little bit about the bridge project? Because I loved this.
Okay,
So
can I
Ginger,
first, as far as that song goes, so that's a song that Mark Ari wrote for us. So that is going to be a central part of our exhibition. It kind of, so we are going to be using that a little bit as promotion too, but yeah. Anyway, so the bridge project.
yeah,
Um,
so Ginger sent me one of these cards, and I have to say, when you open them, they're just a delight. Mainly because Ginger's writing is so beautiful; it's like calligraphy. And then you get this very strange looking card that invites you to do different things, and it has a scent with it. So do you want to tell them a little bit about it?
Yeah, well, this is what the three of us who had started showing just prior to COVID wanted to keep it going. And, you know, it seems quite a ways past, but that was some really scary times. And, you know, as artists, you didn't really know what to do. The galleries were closed, everything was closed. You couldn't communicate, and we were all little little scared, so we started talking and started talking about memory and started talking about, well, how can we continue to work? And we came up with the mail out, this is a mail art piece, which, as you said, thank you for the calligraphy, but they are all handwritten as invitations. So you know, and if anybody wants, you know, to send their mailing address, I'm happy to send them one of the cards. And so we came up with a postcard, which is black and quite thick. This one contains one of Ari's poems. Um, there's a little pad that goes on the inhale circle, and you will smell that. That's the scent for this particular piece that we did on the telephone. And Ari had just started being aware of scents as an art material when we first started to collaborate. But he was in Florida and only came up for like the opening or something. So he was not a part of, you know, making the scent and how that would go, you know, how that was done. This one, I wanted him to be, because I wanted us all to create this. This was our bridge, which is where the bridge project comes from, although the topic for the first one was the Brooklyn Bridge. Um, to bridge that gap between artist, participant, or the three of us as artists, each collaborating. There was a space, and for me, scent really bridged that more directly than any of the other, you know. But I like scent, and I like that direct connection. So that's kind of weird. So we mailed these out, and there's one that's in a museum um, in South Korea, because we were invited into a show there, and that's part of their permanent collection. And this was the first piece that we showed at Andreas's gallery, Olfactory Art Keller, but it was done as an event, so as opposed to what we're doing now. So this was something that people came into, they participated in, and you know, we only held it for a weekend. Um, that's
It's fabulous. So what happens is when you scan the QR code, you go to a film as if you're going across the bridge and being part of the traffic going across the bridge. and all the sounds, and you have this lovely oil to inhale as well. It's really quite, it's a very moving experience to do it. I love it. What's on your next screen?
Can I just say that the film that's in this particular one was Edison, right after the Brooklyn Bridge. Chuck had gotten it and worked with it from the Library of Congress, and it was Edison had mounted a camera on like a train car, and it went across the bridge. So that's, you know, kind of the little,
Ah, I never knew that.
yeah, that I knew. Okay. What else? Oh, this is just some of my notes from building the blend. So the blend for that was built in three different layers, or three different accords, and one would be Manhattan, the other Brooklyn, and the third being the bridge. So that's what the event was about. When you came into the gallery, we had the video projection like on the wall and some sculptural mirrors and things. I think that maybe, yeah, this is all from the bridge project. And then, as I said, you know, after I introduced the three different scents and everybody smelt them, they were invited to build a scent based on a place. So that's what this is all about. These are you can, well, the cutouts. Those are some of the mirrors. There's the projection.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah. And yeah. So that's Andreas, and that's the front of his gallery.
fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. So this would be the second one, which was focusing on the Statue of Liberty. The bridge, so because when we first started talking about these cards, we were like, well, we should do it as a series, you know, after we started the first one. And because we all met in New York, and it's a place that we can all focus on. These are the three topics for the New York for the Bridge Project, the New York series. So that's what this was.
Fantastic.
And that's the card for that one, which I haven't yet mailed to you because I'm still adjusting the scent for this one.
Brilliant. They're so fascinating to do, everybody. So if you do fancy it, do click on the link to ask Ginger to send them, because it's such an experience to do it. It's so unusual. And of course, if you are in the vicinity of Manhattan, do go along and tell me what it's like, because obviously I can't get there. But those of you who feel that you have the ambition to create a scent of hot dogs, that's going to be really exciting to me. And as I say, we'll put all of the details to that in the description.
Yeah.
So Ginger, do you want to tell them what date is the exhibition?
Yeah, the exhibition itself will open on May 8th, and it'll run through, the gallery is open Thursday through Saturday, so it'll run through that. The opening and the award for the hot dog scent contest will be on May 10th. We haven't completely determined, but probably around 3 o'clock. So the opening will be, you know, it'll be a big reception, and, you know, it should be fun.
Fantastic.
It should be fun.
And one more time, it's Olfactory Art Keller.
Yes.
Wonderful. Ginger, thank you so much.
Oh, Liz, thank you for this opportunity. It was great talking to you, as always.
Do you want to unshare your screen so I can say bye properly to
I am
everybody?
so sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
Oh, wait a minute. I got this. I have to work on all that.
No, it's all right. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody. Say bye, Ginger.